to be leaving my current full-time role in Hong Kong Watch, but I also feel it's the right time for me to move on to another new challenge. But the most important thing to say, especially to Hong Kong people, is that I'm not leaving the Hong Kong movement. First of all, I will be joining the Board of Trustees of Hong Kong Watch officially from tomorrow. So I'm not leaving Hong Kong Watch. I'm just changing a role from being chief executive to being a trustee. And I will continue to speak very actively on Hong Kong, to write articles, to join events. So I will continue to do everything I can to support Hong Kong and Hong Kongers, even though I will be in a different role. I will be starting a new job on the 2nd of September as the Director of Research for a new organization called the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship, ARC. And ARC is basically a movement to try to strengthen and defend Western civilization and our freedoms in Western democracies. And so it will be an interesting new challenge for me, and I will be leading the research team at ARC. We have advertised the position. We will go through a recruitment process. There will be, of course, an interim period where there will not be a chief executive because my successor won't have been appointed. But we have an excellent team in Hong Kong Watch that will continue the day-to-day advocacy work during that interim period. We've only just advertised the position, so we will await the applications. In terms of the person that we would like to appoint, of course, anybody is welcome to apply. The requirements are set out on the post on our website. We're looking for somebody who has experience of management of a charity, fundraising, and of course a passion for Hong Kong. But people can see the job description on the website, and anyone who feels they are qualified to apply would be very welcome to apply. I think the most rewarding was definitely an achievement of the British government introducing the BNO scheme, and then, of course, expanding the BNO scheme as a result, in large part, of our advocacy. And so that was very rewarding. And, now I meet many Hong Kongers across the UK very regularly. And although it's very sad that they had to leave Hong Kong due to the circumstances there, it's very rewarding to see that they're able to come to the UK in freedom and to build a new life in freedom here. And the same is true also of Canada. We did a lot of advocacy in Canada for the Canadian scheme, and it's great to see many Hong Kongers moving to Canada. I think in terms of regrets or sadness, obviously the biggest sadness is what has happened to Hong Kong in the last few years. When we first founded Hong Kong Watch in 2017, that was long before the 2019 protests, long before the national security law. We knew even in 2017 that things were going wrong in Hong Kong, and that's why we founded Hong Kong Watch, because we felt Hong Kong needed an advocacy organization to be a voice to help Hong Kong. But our hope was that by advocating for Hong Kong, we would prevent or help to prevent the situation deteriorating. Unfortunately, it deteriorated much more rapidly than and much more significantly than we ever predicted. And that's probably the biggest sadness and regret. And related to that, one of my other biggest sadnesses is, of course, I can no longer have contact with people in Hong Kong. Many of my friends in Hong Kong who I used to speak to almost on a daily basis, or certainly on a weekly basis, before the national security law came in. Now, many of them are in prison, and if they're not in prison or in exile, I can't contact them because I don't want to endanger them. And that's one of my biggest regrets. We have an excellent team who are doing great work, and they will continue to do great work. But the other thing I want to emphasize is that even I myself, even though I won't be full-time, I will continue to campaign for Jimmy Lai and for political prisoners. I will continue to write articles. I'll continue to speak out on social media, but also at protests if I'm invited to protest. So the only thing that changes is I'm no longer doing it full-time, but I will continue to do everything I can, and I certainly will continue to campaign for Jimmy Lai and for political prisoners. Governments around the world, because, as you say, the situation is getting worse and worse, and I think it is likely to continue to deteriorate. And it's also very important in the UK, we have, as you say, a new government and also a very new parliament with many new MPs newly elected. Quite a lot of our old friends in the previous parliament who were very supportive of Hong Kong are no longer in the new parliament, either because they retired or they were defeated. So there are a lot of new MPs that Hong Kong Watch is in the process of meeting and briefing. The same is true in the European Parliament. We had elections a couple of months ago for the European Parliament, and there are new members of the European Parliament that we're in the process of engaging with. And of course, later this year, there will be the elections in the United States, and next year, most probably, elections in Canada. So there's a lot of work to be done to make sure that both our existing allies and friends, but also new members of parliament in the UK and around the world are engaged on Hong Kong issues, are well briefed, and are willing to speak out. And that's the work that Hong Kong Watch will continue. I think that the new government in the UK, we definitely want them to continue to speak out for Hong Kong. When they were in opposition, they were very supportive of Hong Kong and also of the BNO scheme. And now they're in government. We're looking to them to speak out, and of course, very much want them to renew the BNO scheme. And I think one of the things that's important to emphasize is when the BNO scheme was introduced by the Conservative government, there was real cross-party support for it. So it's not really a party political issue. It was supported by many people in the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats and other parties. The minister in the Foreign Office responsible for the Indo-Pacific region, Catherine West, was, until she became a minister, was a patron of Hong Kong Watch, one of our founding patrons. And she has consistently been very supportive of Hong Kong and Hong Kongers. So she's now the minister in government, and I believe she will remain a strong friend for Hong Kongers. Yeah, my message to the new government is they must speak out. I hope that the Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary will meet with Sebastian Lai, Jimmy Lai's son, at the earliest opportunity. David Cameron, the previous Foreign Secretary, did meet with Sebastian Lai. I hope David Lammy and Sir Keir Starmer will do so. And I hope that they will speak out at every opportunity very loudly to demand the release of Jimmy Lai, who, after all, is a British citizen. And I certainly hope that the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, will renew the BNO scheme next year, that there will be no question of it ending. So Hong Kong Watch will continue to make these points to the new government. We'll keep up the pressure on the new government, and the same in Canada. It's quite possible that there may be a change of government in Canada next year as well. And our team in Canada is actively working with both the current government, but also the opposition party in case there's a change of government. So Hong Kong Watch will continue to work on these issues, and we're looking to the governments in the UK, Canada, the US, the EU, to continue to do their part. Just before I say some Cantonese, let me emphasize again, I'm not leaving the Hong Kong movement. I'm still here. I will still be speaking out for Hong Kong and Hong Kongers, just in a different way, not as a full-time role. And so in that context, let me say to Hong Kongers, Guang Fuk Hong Kong, Si Doi Gak Ming, Ga Yao.
追新聞 YouTube 會籍開咗啦，歡迎加入會員撐起追新聞，多謝大家支持。